Hey guys, wanted to make a quick video about factoring. So I don't have any notes for this, but what I want you to do is to use your own piece of paper for this video to take notes so you have it. What I'm trying to do here is make a video that kind of encompasses all of the things that you will need for the rest of these sections, okay? The first thing I want to do is think about the word factor, okay? So the word factor, when I do it, I like to, when I'm trying to define that word, I like to define it as rewriting using multiplication, okay? So if I were to, say, factor the number 6, okay, I would rewrite it as, you know, say like 2 times 3, okay, and that's equal to 6. So that's all I'm doing is I'm just rewriting stuff using multiplication, okay? So if I'm going to keep coming back to this idea here, you know, of just using numbers. And this is something that you're able to do, okay? And you've done it before, okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to take it a step further, okay? We're going to factor polynomials, okay? And the first example that I want to go over is multiplying. So before we jump into factoring, we have to really be good at multiplying polynomials, okay? And the first thing I'm going to do is use the distributive property. So distributive property, which we have all done, okay? And let's just do this. Let's just say I have 2 times, say, 3x plus 2, okay? Let's say I use this, or I wanted to distribute this 2, okay? So what I would do is I would multiply it by each of the parts on the inside of the parentheses, and that would give me, you know, 2 times 3x plus 2 times 2, and that would end up giving me 6x plus 4, okay? So this, going from this step here down to here, is multiplying, okay? And what I want to do is go the opposite direction. I want to go backwards, okay? And going backwards, so backwards from multiplying is factoring, okay? All right? And that's what we're going to do. So if you think about this, all right, and you know, I talked about this in the videos, but let's say that you start with, so let's start with 6x plus 4, okay? And I want to factor this. What I would do is I would say, okay, what number divides into 6 and into 4? Okay, what common number divides into them? And that common number is 2. Okay, so what I could do is I could factor out a 2, and I'm doing the opposite of the distributive, okay? So if I factor out a 2, you know, think about what's left over, okay? 2 times what would give me 6x, and that would give me, you know, 3x, okay? 2 times what would give me 4, and that's positive 2, okay? So this I have factored, okay? And this is the opposite of the distributive property. So factoring, I want you to write this down, that factoring in this sense is the opposite of the distributive property. Okay? So again, I want you to think about something. You know, think of the number 6. You know, if I were to factor the number 6, you know, what I think of is that 6 here is the same thing here. Okay, and if I factor that, I'm going to rewrite it using multiplication, which is here. Okay, and I would just rewrite that as, you know, 2 times 3, okay? And that's all I'm doing. Okay, so now what I want to do is talk about the box method. All right, the box method. And the box method of factoring is really important. So box method, the first thing we're going to do, but we first need to multiply. All right, so we're going to multiply using the box method. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to multiply two binomials. So let's say I have this. Let's say I want to multiply, say, x plus 2 times x plus 3. Multiply these binomials together. All right, and what I do is I make a box, okay? And it's a box with 4 smaller boxes, just like that. And I'm going to put one of my binomials on the top and then one on the side. Doesn't matter where they go. You know, order doesn't matter here, but I'm going to do x plus 2, and then I'm going to do x plus 3 here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the parts on the side to get the stuff that's inside each box. Okay, so what's going to go in this box, I'm going to take x and multiply it by x. And if I take x times x, that's going to give me x squared. Okay, to go what's in this box, I'm going to take 2 and multiply it by x. So if I take 2 times x, it's going to give me 2x. Okay, same thing for this box, 3 times x, which is going to give me 3x. And then this last box over here, I'm going to take 3 times 2 to give me 6. Okay, now when I go through this, what I want to do now is add up all of the values in these boxes. Okay. So I'm going to take x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6, okay? And then, you know, I'm going to combine my like terms here in the middle because those just have an x, so they're like terms. And my final result is x squared plus 5x, 2x plus 3x is 5x, and then plus 6, okay? And that's what, this is my answer, okay? This is what I'm looking for, all right? So this is multiplication. Okay, and that's using the box method, okay? And I feel like a lot of us are really good at this. There were some other ones that were introduced in the other notes, but, you know, this is essentially what you're doing. We are just multiplying these together. Okay, now I could go into the nitty-gritty here of what we're actually doing. The videos go into the nitty-gritty of what's actually happening. But as far as, like, procedures go, as far as your ability to just multiply these together and get an answer, this is what you're doing. Now, the process that I go through to multiply these two does not change, okay? It doesn't matter what numbers are here, or if they're positive or negative or whatever, I still put my, you know, first binomial here, my second binomial here, multiply them together to get what's inside the boxes, and then I add them up. That's it, okay? And then combine like terms, okay? Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to go backwards, all right? So if I go backwards, okay, I'm going to go backwards, okay, meaning I'm going to factor, okay, but I'm still going to use the box method, okay? And so if I use the box method, let's say I want to factor, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to factor the trinomial x squared plus 5x plus 6, okay? And what I'm going to do is, in order to factor this, I'm going to create a box, okay? And this is what I do every single time, okay? What goes in the first box here is my x squared. So I have an x squared that goes in this box, and then my last term, 6, goes in this box. Okay, and what I'm trying to do is to figure out what values are going to go up here that will then multiply out to give me this. So you have to understand the concept of multiplying out binomials in order for factoring to work, okay? So what I'm going to do is this. These are givens, okay? I always put the first term, x squared here, and 6 in this box, okay? Then what I do is I ask myself the question, what two numbers, what two things are going to multiply together to give me x squared? And if you think about that, that's just going to be x and x. So I put an x here and an x here, okay? and those are the two numbers that are going to multiply to x squared. Okay, and then I ask myself the question, okay, now what two numbers are going to multiply to 6? Positive 6. And so, you got some options. You could do 1 and 6, or you could do 2 and 3. Let's do 2 and 3. We already kind of know what the answer is, but I'm going to put a plus 2 here, and then a plus 3 here. Okay, and all I want to do is put things in here that first at least make these two boxes true. The next thing that I have to do is I have to say, okay, I'm going to take 3 and multiply it by x, because I'm going to put that in this box. Okay, so if I have 3x goes in that box, I've got a 2 and an x is going to go in this box, so it's going to be 2x. Okay, and then I add them all up, and what I should get is the same trinomial that we started with. Okay, that's the point. We should be able to add these up. So if I add together x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6, combine your like terms in the middle, you get x squared plus 5x plus 6. As long as, let me change colors here. As long as this middle term here, this 5x, matches up with this 5x, we have done it correctly. Okay, so you can kind of just look at these and combine these two in the middle and get your answer. As long as those add up to 5x, then you've got the right answer. So then your answer is this. Okay, so if I write my answer to this problem, if I wanted to factor, x squared plus 5x plus 6, that would factor to x plus 2 times x plus 3. Okay, this is my answer. Okay, and these are equivalent statements saying this. Okay, so the other videos have some, they go into the nitty gritty. Okay, but all I want you to understand is that we understand the concept of multiplying using the box method. Okay, and we get we take two binomials and we get a trinomial. What we are doing when we are factoring is we are taking that trinomial and we're going backwards. Okay, to factor and to get back to what we started with up here. So we factor this, and this is the answer we get. That was the same thing that we started with, okay? So the one thing, okay, this might be a trial and error thing, okay? Trial and error, okay? If you can't, if you do this once, all right, and you don't, and your numbers don't match up with your middle term here, if the 5x and the 5x don't match up, try something else, okay? Try multiple types of numbers, okay? And that will become apparent. Try multiple combinations of numbers, okay? And that will become apparent, when you get into further things down the road, okay? But this is the idea. So if we understand this idea, I want you guys to, try and use this concept to and use this video to help you with the rest of the problems, okay? So see if this will help. Hopefully it does. Thanks a lot. See you, bye.